Good evening, everyone. This is Kola Olugbodi welcoming you to Through It All this good Thursday evening. How are you? Has been your week? Has been your day? Has your family? All right. So Through It All is a program organized or started so that people can share their inspiring stories just to, of course, inspire others and let others know that whatever you are going through in life, someone who had gone through it and God had helped them out of it. And if God could do it for them, He will do it for you also, if only you will put your trust in Him. The Bible says, have faith in God. And somebody said, have faith in God is saying that you put your trust in Him, you put your reliance on Him, and you just believe that when I just trust Him for anything, because He is God, the maker of the heavens and the earth, the God that nothing is impossible for or with, He is going to do it for you. Of course, Through It All is from the book, a book I wrote, titled Through It All, where I shared my own Through It All stories, or story also, all the things I've gone through in life, all the trials, all the challenges, all the troubles, and how God was really there for me. All right. So tonight I have another wonderful guest in the house. Her name is Folashade Adebawo. She also has very wonderful story that I know is going to encourage somebody here tonight, or somebody that's going to be listening to this, the video even after this. All right, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to bring in my guest for tonight. So with Jesus' joy, I welcome to Through It All, Folashade Adebawo. Shade, good evening. How are you today?
Good evening, sir. I'm good. I'm fine.
All right. So nice to see your face.
Thank you, sir. Good
Thank you
evening.
so much. Thank you so much for accepting to share your story with us on Through It All.
It's a privilege, sir. Thank you so much for the honor given to me, too.
So I don't take it for granted at all.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I know one of the first question everybody will be asking, so who is Folashade Adebawo? Of course, the best way you can answer that question is to start from the genesis of your life and take it to the revelation.
It is well.
All right. So, who is Folashade Adebawo?
A good question. Good evening, everyone. My name is Folashade Adebawo. Though I'm married, but let me see. When you say I should start my story from the genesis, my name is Folashade Adebawo Ni Olani Shebe.
Okay.
Folashade was born in the 80s, April 25th. Yes, April 25th in the 80s. 5 months after Folashade was born, she lost her mother. 5 months, she was just 5 months old. Her mother died of epilepsy that you call warapa. Let me put it that way. Yes, epilepsy. You know, this ignorance of the people that when somebody is suffering from epilepsy, you don't move closer to her. One of the saddest things that actually affected me is that she actually died in her mother's. My mother actually died in her mother's house.
Wow.
Yes, she actually died in her mother's house. Visiting. Okay, maybe after you give birth, after 3 months or 4 months, you want to go to your family and friends to greet them. Okay, this is my baby. Though I'm the second born of my mom, we're just two. I have an elderly brother, Olalekon, and I'm the second child, Folashade. Okay. So my mother stayed at Mushi, Olateju, Railway Road. Then my mother stays at Isolo. My grandmother stays at Isolo. So no one day, okay, you're going to greet your mother. Bye-bye. So my dad is a taxi. My dad was a taxi driver then, so he has gone to work. So I think that crisis actually left us for so long. So they never pay attention if this actually occur again. So on that fateful day, my mom, elderly sister, works in NEPA. She has gone to work. My grandma sells food. She sells tuwo. At night she says tuwo, in the afternoon she says amala. So she went to market, to Mushi market. I was the only one with my mom. So when the crisis happened, I think she hit her head, and from there she dropped dead. So nobody actually was around. My grandma was not around. So they said it's a taboo in Yoruba land for a daughter to die in her mother's house, which I don't know. So they actually just packed her that it's a taboo, that they can't even leave her so they buried her. My father was not around. So and my father told me also that they never planned for my pregnancy. Due to what they never planned to have me there. So when my mother was pregnant, they tried all possible bets to abort me. I never got aborted. So immediately they gave me Folashade Olugbodi. It is the Lord that give her to us. So when they will pass the message to my father around to sell, my father said it rains cat and dog that particular day. And they said, come over to your in-laws place. My father said the first thing that stuck his mind was like, that means I've passed on. So it could not go that way because it actually rained heavily. Thinking, so say the second day, when it got to my grandma's place, they passed the news that my mother was late. So the thing actually affected him, and what happened? Now things just like the ignorance. Okay, once they've done Warapa thing again, and they never know to ask primary and secondary stages. So who will take care of Folashade? And my mom is the second born of her family. She has an elderly sister. But my mom sister told me a story that a week before she passed on, she came back from work because my mom was not that educated, but the elderly sister was educated. But my mom, they came from a Muslim background. My mother was Sekinat. My elder sister was Fatima. My mother now gave out to me that Fatima Mogbe Moyi. My mother then says, well, security ready. She not say something that tomatara silara. Thinking that
you need to interpret those things.
Yeah, that this baby is going to train her and you're going to make her become somebody. But she never understood the meaning of what my mother was saying. So immediately the death, after her death, was like, is it what my mother was trying to tell her before she passed on? So she actually she took me from baby. So I lived with her. That's my mommy elderly sister. So as I was growing up, I never know she was not my mother. She actually take me as her own first. She's not married then. So she got married in 1992. So people always think I'm her firstborn. So she take me as her own personal child because she has actually made a covenant with my mother that she was going to take care of me. So growing up, I never know any story. I don't have a mother. But one thing I actually observed that my father will always come and bring money. I was like, so as a kid, I never is it possible for me to have two fathers? What was going on? I never take note of that. But one incident happened when I was in year 5. My mom bought a biro for me that day. Someone stole the biro. So someone had to beat me like that. But somebody actually stole. They said, Allah afi ajamo, I don't fear ajamo. That a person that does not have a mother, that they're actually maltreating. She was trying to say that word out of annoyance. So I picked that word, omokworu. What's the meaning of this omokworu? I don't know. So that day we have Yoba. Teacher now asked my Yoba teacher, what's the meaning of omokworu? The ignorant teacher just answered me, whether a person does not have a father or a mother. I was like, I have a father. I have a mother. What was going on? So that thing my father always come along to check on me, bring my school fees, check on me. At least 3 weeks then, my dad always bring my school fees, buy things for us. But they never let it know to me that they are not the one that actually gave back to me. So I managed my primary school then. I went to a public school. Then after I graduated from secondary school, I was in SS3. I failed my WAEC. That is where the battle actually starts. And the people I'm actually living with, they're both educators, Yoba and physics teacher. All these teachers, they never believe that if you don't read, you can't become somebody. So even if you can't make friends. All this addicted teacher, no time for you to. So after I finished, the first time I wrote my GC, that was in SS2. Dad told me that if you collect expo from the GC center, it's going to know at home. So the fear, when I got to the GC center, they gave me the expo. I said, my dad is going to know at home. So I never collected the expo. I made 4 credits. So the following year, I failed both my English and I was called a name, failure. You only know how to play.
Wow.
They no longer allow me welcome visitor. I was always sitting down inside the fear, like, wow, what is all this? That I failed my WAEC. Then the option I had was to go back to that school to retake my WAEC, and I was a prefect. So that thing actually affected my emotions. And I'm a kind of person, I'm a social person. I was like being rejected. Nobody actually called me that, okay, you can still do it better. If it was to be nowadays, that is how suicide actually happened among teenagers.
Mm.
But it never come to my brain like actually, because I was always like being rejected, like just because I failed my maths and English. Nobody was actually giving me the support. But thank God for my geography teacher. He's not any longer in this country, he's not in abroad, Mr. Shodayo. He wrote me a poem that the sun may not shine today, does not mean it's going to shine tomorrow. That you can still make it in life. So that poem, I actually kept that sheet of paper for long. That poem gave me an encouragement. Even I was being rejected at home, I was being cast out. I know this whole career, different things. I don't still give up. So I managed to combine my two results together, not at one sitting. I get admission to College of Education. And after my SS3, I have to go and work myself personally. I was actually employed in a private school to work as an assistant teacher or something. They're paying me a peanut. So I was actually saving that money. And then Federal College of Education at Koka, there's what they call local source. You just buy a form, they give you the admission once you actually get the requirements. So I gained admission to Federal College of Education at Koka. Then I started my life again, and it was not easy working. And from there, I was actually doing one or two things, doing part-time teaching and things like that, just to make sure things are actually okay for me. Then when I was in year 2, I actually met my husband. He was not a student. I think his uncle was his uncle was a lecturer, but it was during the holiday time he came over to the school, and I actually met him through a friend. I have a friend then, Moses was a senior friend. He was actually running Lagos Unilag and FCE. So most of the time, I'll be helping to do his assignment in school. Now I'll collect money. I'll do your assignment for you because it's a business, it's a deal, something. So there was a fateful day. I wanted to buy LD Living. That's a course. Mr. Toye, my mother was on leave, so he came to Akoka then. So I actually collected the handouts from him. Not knowing that Moses Adeyemi has actually collected another textbook. I was like, how come you have two handouts with you? I don't want this person to know that we collected two handouts. Let me return the handouts to him. So that fateful day was actually standing in front of his uncle's office. I was going for a lecture. So I said, sorry, sir. We collected two handouts. Well, I'm going for a lecture now. I don't know if I'm coming back to my house for my hostel. I will bring it. He said, if you promise that you're going to bring it back. I was like, what was wrong with this person? I came to report to myself that we collected two handouts from you, and I was going to return it back to you, and you are giving me an excuse. So I told my friends, please go to the lecture room. Let me run back and collect the handouts. So I ran to my hostel. So I gave him that. So he was saying, and looking at me. I was like, excuse me, have the handouts. It was like, do we still have students like this? And during that time, there was no money in our hand. It was during the exam period. We no longer have some things again to do. So I gave him the handout. He was like, I said, you are saying at me. So he gave me the handout to use like that. So I gave him the handouts like that. So throughout my years in college education, I was actually hustling just to make things okay. Then my dad always made sure that he satisfied me as a taxi driver. He would just call me, meet me at Charlie Boy. If it was even a token, he's always been supportive. Then two things my dad would always tell me: don't enter a lift, know the kind of daughter who you are. So through those period, he was my best father, and till now, my father never remarried ever since the death of my mother. If I ask my dad, remarried, he has not seen a woman like my mom. So after my NC, after that, because my husband said, my family said I should get married. I will continue my education in my husband's house. My husband said, no, I can't just get married with NC alone. He want me to go for my degree. So after my NC, it was challenging. My earthwise was challenging. But something happened when I was in year 1. When we get admission, we have to go through the medical process and things like that. Yeah. They posted my name around the old school that my attention was needed at the medical center. I was like, I have HIV/AIDS, or what is the problem of them posting my name? So, and the doctor in charge was an albino doctor. So I went to the medical something. The first thing the doctor asked me was, I could remember that, what's your genotype? I said, I'm AS. She said, do you know you are O negative? I said, what is O negative? Said, okay, I'm going to tell you two things. Make sure you don't marry an SAS person, SS person. Don't let it get to your head. Then once you get pregnant, use a general hospital. She never gave me the details of what that is. I was like, is that the reason why they posted my name? Or
sorry, Shade, keep your camera stable.
okay,
It's
sir.
shaking.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. So, like, she never told me why she actually said that. So I said, okay, that she never gave me the full details. All my mind was like, she was someone that is AS and O negative, but is as strong as this person. She said, do you usually fall sick? I said, no. Have you ever, she was asking me questions. Okay, you can go. But those two things I told you, once you want to get married, you must not marry an AS person. You must use the hospital. I was like, what was all this one for? God. So I kept quiet. And after my NC, I went for my degree. Then I got married.
Okay.
So during that process of me getting married, I was actually working as a teacher and I was doing a part-time for my degree. I imagine going through part-time and the stress of things like that. So I actually got married to my husband. I met him in school and we got courtship of 7 years. Then we got married.
Okay.
So every woman wants to know the way we plan our life is not the way God actually planned our life for us. So I got married. I was like, everybody was like, oh, okay, once I'm married, in the next 3 months, I want to get pregnant. By this, my child will be this. I want to have 3 kids by 2000 or something. But the way I actually planned my life was not the way I actually met my life. So I got married November 23rd. Then after I got married, I was having.
What year was that, Shade?
13, yes.
Okay, 2013.
Between 2013 to 2014, I actually had 3 miscarriages.
All right, sorry, you got married. Sorry, Shade, you got married 2013, you said?
Yes, November 23rd.
Okay, all right.
So by December, I think I took in the first pregnancy of my life. After 4 weeks, I had a miscarriage.
4 weeks, you said?
Yes, that was December.
Okay.
I was like, what really happened? I could not face it. So I said, okay, fine. We cried. I cried. Oh no, this, that. I kept quiet. Then February 2014, I had another one. I had a miscarriage again.
Okay.
So I was like, what's going on? Then by that time, I was like, what's going on with this pregnancy? After some weeks, it actually keep dropping. Then I have to go for medical attention. They tell me it's normal. It's because you are just getting married, you're nervous, you are anxious or things like that. I kept quiet.
Sorry, what age were you then when you got married?
I was 25.
Okay, all right.
So it happened that way. I kept quiet. Then 2014 February came down. Then April on my birthday, April 22, I had a call that my dad actually passed on. I was actually pregnant that day. Then I never knew I was pregnant. So the stress of me going through, okay, Sherry, I lost that pregnancy. So,
all right, so that was the third one.
That was the third one in 2014. I cried with my dad. Okay, maybe it was because of the stress of my dad. I actually lost that baby, things like that. So I was on bed rest. I came back home. Then July again, I got pregnant. I lost the pregnancy.
Making it the fourth one.
The fourth one.
Okay.
So at the time, I was like, okay, it's like if after some weeks, this pregnancy is always coming down. I never get bothered. I'll go to medical center. They said it's part of it. You have to keep taking medication and things like that. And sometimes people are saying it is spiritual. You keep, you don't have to talk to this person. You have to ignore this person. This and that. But my husband always tell me something that he will not accept me using a black something that's Abba something. He will not allow me use anything black. That stick with God. That's my husband's principle. He does not accept other things. It's like when it is time for God to do it, he will do it. So he actually his faith is what's stronger than mine. But I will cry as in, what's this? What is all this? And that was around July, making it fourth one. Then September again, I remember it was even obvious that people know actually I was actually pregnant. It came down. So we no
Was
longer
that the
even tell
fifth or the sixth one?
the sixth one.
Okay.
I no longer even tell somebody I'm even pregnant again. I know it will actually come down. I actually center my mind that once I get pregnant, it's coming down. So the one came down September. Then December, another one came down, making 7-1. That's 2014.
Okay.
Then 2015, I was not in a good mood. Everybody was saying Happy New Year. I was like, what's so happy in this new year? Lost pregnancy December. I keep moving on. And one thing about me is that even when it happens to me, I won't let it affect my joy. I'll keep moving. Because I always have this moment, like, if I'm dull, it will affect my job. And what will I tell people that I carry it on my head? So whenever I'm going to work, anything that affects my home, I drop it at my doorpost.
Okay.
I pick up my workplace. Then whenever I'm leaving my workplace, anything that concerns my work, I drop it at my workplace. I know I'm going up to face another battle. So 2015, I never had any pregnancy till March. I got pregnant in March. I was like, normal thing. I'm always pregnant now. So March, April, May, June. That one actually lasted for 3 months. Then 3 months, June, my husband's birthday was June 8th, and I think around June 15th, it came down.
Wow.
Then I know I actually entered this one. So I keep praying. I go for medication. You are okay. You go for bed rest. Your nature. Then no doctor was telling me that because of my nature, of my genotype and blood group, I need to rest. I need to each miscarriage I have. I need to collect a Rogram injection. Nobody was telling me that. They keep telling me
So
to take
how did you now discover that?
So it was around, I think 2016.
That would be the third year after you've gotten wedded.
Yes.
Wow.
That was January. I actually have a woman that sells pepper around my area, and I stay at Ikorodu. I work at Obaniko. It was during that period of BRT construction. You have to leave very early, not to go late to work. But then I have to wake up 4 a.m.
Okay.
So the woman noticed me that as if it's the stress that's affecting me. So she called me January 15. I think I've taken in, and I was not even aware. This one is not educated. She just called me, Folashade. I should not be angry, whatever she wants to tell me. I was like, and we talk. That she advised me that I should quit my job and rest. I said, quit my job and rest. She said, I shouldn't be angry. That is what she just feel like telling me. So I went home, like, I thought this woman saying I should sit down at home, not working. Well, you don't understand. So she called my husband that let's try this method of me resting, not going to work. I think the stress is actually affecting me. But sometimes God sends people to us. If you are not really aware of that, we misuse it. So that woman God actually used that woman to talk to me that when she's pregnant, she should rest. So January, I noticed that I just got a new job at Obanikoro. I could not, my chest, I have to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to work. The eagerness and the stress. So February, I told them I was not going to come to work. I wanted to rest. So my husband actually supported me that I should rest at home. That I was like, what am I going to be eating? My husband and I were most of that is a mistake most of us do. That if I stop this job, what will I eat? The God has made everything so sufficient for us. Let's just try this. So February, I did not go to work. I was at home. So February, March, I was like, normally March, it will actually come down. No. So before then, somebody actually asked me to go to a government hospital to go and see a gynecologist, which I did. So I was 3 months pregnant. That's February, March, April. That's close to my birthday. So I went to see, and once you go to register at any government hospital, the first thing they have to do is that you see a gynae, and they ask you to go and do your blood group and your genotype.
Okay.
So when I told the Dr. Oni, he was like, you mean you are AS, you are O negative? I said, yes, sir. How many pregnancies have you had? I said, I can't even count. He said, you are a resource mother. I thought it's resource mother. I said, wow. Have you not heard about it? Because you have your body can't carry the pregnancy because of your nature. You need to rest. So they actually canceled me. Okay, once you give birth, you collect Rogram injection, because we are much, and they can't give me special attention. Okay. When you are 4th month pregnancy, they need to do a test. That's the number of protein in my body. So I actually stayed there. I did the test, and 4 months, when I was 4 months old, I said, okay, I should still be at bed. I should not stress myself. Lo and behold, 6 months was going, 7 months. This one is not coming down. 8 months and 9 months. I gave birth to Eri November 7, 2016.
Wow.
That was that. So I was so happy that, oh, thank God. Wow. So everyone was like, wow, praise God. And it was really a tough time. But after that, when I gave birth to Eri, somebody was telling me that it is because I saw mercy. I may not give birth to a child again. It was a prophet.
Sorry, somebody said what?
That I only received mercy by giving birth to Eri.
Okay, it was just by mercy.
Just by mercy.
You had Eri. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to give birth again. My husband look at him. Look at my face. My husband smiled. Meanwhile, before I gave birth to Eri, after when I did the scan, my husband was asking me, does scan change? I said, scan does not change. What do you mean? Like I said, he saw a female. I said, what do you see? If you said that means the second child is not going to be too, it's going to come earlier. I said, second child come earlier. I said, you're on your own, right? So 2018, I gave birth to Eri 2016. 2017, around May. I never know I took in. There was no sign. I was not falling sick. I was okay. And I was still breastfeeding Eri. So I was also just having a slight headache. So I was like, I went to a center. They gave me drugs. And since we are still breastfeeding, I'm still seeing my period, monthly cycle. So around August, I was not feeling comfortable again. So I went to a clinic. The man insisted I must do a scan. I said, a scan for what? I said I should go for a pregnancy scan. I said, I'm breastfeeding a baby and I'm feeding my mouth. He said, he just insisted. I was like, I'm not going to do this scan job. So on my way home, that man said, go and do this scan, madam. So I ran and do this scan. I said, I was 6 months pregnant. That's September. I was 6 months pregnant. I never knew. And I was breastfeeding. So I cried. I said, God, how will I cope with Eri Oluwa breastfeeding? And I wanted to go back to work. My husband said something. You are not grateful to God. You have to be looking for this child for so. I said, you don't understand. I want to go back to work. I've been sitting at home since February. How will I cope? He was looking at me. He was not talking. I tried to opposite that this thing should come down. I was pressing myself down. The pregnancy was not coming down. So the first thing I said to the doctor was, can I breastfeed a child when I'm pregnant? The doctor said yes. If he's not sick, I'm not feeling sick, I can breastfeed the child. And God so good, I will not breastfeed outside. I know your people are, but from my lawyer, you must not breastfeed as you are pregnant. The boy will become sick, blah, blah, blah. But he will never suck outside for people to know. He will suck only indoor. So 2018, and it was going on fine. We were trying to manage. I was going for clinic, though it was not easy. Because I wanted to go back to work just to make sure things are okay. So 2018, I stopped breastfeeding January 21st. You actually vomited, and okay, this is where you actually stopped going to breastfeeding. Then I gave it to Iri Oluwa February 21, 2018. Wow. So then, and I know the importance. I cut a place short. When I gave birth to Iri Oluwa 2016, my mother-in-law was not around. My husband have to travel. Okay. That is that day I know the importance of mother. Because I have to cry because I don't know how to be as a first parent. My husband traveled a week after the naming ceremony. He immediately closed the door. I cried that I wish I had a mother. Then my father just called me. How are you coping? I said I could not cope very well because I cried that who is going to help me out? That was the first day I know that yes, something actually important left my vacuum. The role of a mother. So when I gave birth to Iri Oluwa, my mother-in-law came around to help me. But sometimes it's so crazy. Carrying two babies at the same time within how many years? And you know how it could be. You have to take care of one. Then Iri Oluwa was not behaving like a baby when I was actually pregnant. But when I gave birth to Iri, he would tell me, Mommy, please put down this baby, back me. And no one direct help me. He would tell me, Mommy, backy me, carry your baby. And sometimes I will have to travel. 2 kids. That's how I said, God, I'm not saying you're not good. But this one at this time, I was not expecting it. So I was not working there. I have to take care of the 2 kids together. Making 2 years, I was not working. But staying at home, I have to just learn one or two things together to make sure everything is fine. Then how did I come about Resource Mother? 2019. I just got a new job. Then I wanted to make my kids start school. But the environment of where I find myself, I was not comfortable. So I stopped. Then there's this NGO called Mamalet, owned by Nikela. Wow. She has been calling me to volunteer with them. I'll tell that my kids are still small. So immediately I stopped that job 2019, January. I just told myself I was going to stop this job. Then my husband was like, it's your choice. I can't force you. If you're no longer finding happiness in whatever you do, you quit it. So I took Iriolua for the interview at Yaba. So it was a Facebook training. We were 16 in Nigeria that were actually students. It's a 9-month program. They call it home visiting for mothers, for you to be educate mothers in the rural area. So I was so lucky to be among the women picked. So after the first week, after the interview, we have to go through first week training. So among the topic they actually treated with us was a resource factor. So the facilitator just entered that, okay, if your genotype is AS, O negative, let me see your hand. I was the only woman among 28 women that was AS, O negative. So I wanted to know what's so special about that thing. She now told me that, Mr. Adebayo, can you share us your story? Your mother would experience how you get pregnancy. So I shared the story. I noticed that other women were actually crying. I was like, what's so touchy? Then the woman said,
take that again. That internet was breaking.
Okay.
When you shared your story.
I said my story about my miscarriages and things like that. Other women, my colleagues, the Mama champion, they were crying. I was not asking them that, why are you people crying? The facilitator said, your type of genotype and your blood group is so rare. And you already have 2 kids in how many years? Then I now pay more attention to what I was actually saying. That you had your kids 2016, 2018, and you are okay. I said, yes, I am. I said, wow, we need you to make other women know that there is nothing impossible for you. Being a resource mother, you can always have kids. But just that because the information has not been spread for people to know. Then I now pay more attention to that topic, resource factor. She said, when I leave this particular training, I should not just end it, keep the story to myself. I should make sure other women outside there, that most marriages have actually collapsed, most of them have been damaged, most of them don't even have hope again that they can actually become a mother. So I said, okay. So immediately after the training, I went to the field. It was a 9-month program. I went to my community, other community, to see the story. And I see that many women are actually going through what I've actually gone through. I met a woman that actually has been for 21 times.
Wow.
She actually told that she had miscarriage 21 times, that her husband said it was all over. So what I did was that I told her my own story, that my own is not as much as yours, but there's a solution to every problem. You are a resource mother. At each miscarriage you have, there's something they call Rogam injection. You are supposed to take it. And God so good, she has her own twins now. So since then, I've been saying that yes, everywhere I must make an impact to people. So after the training, I think I did 4 programs. I did for the singles to enlighten the single that what we actually focus in marriage is that our blood group, okay, AA must not marry AS, AC must not marry this. We don't know beyond that. It goes beyond that one. If you are O negative person and you marry an opposite person, there's some certain step you need to take, whereby we don't even care to know about it. But when those things are really happening, we start playing, oh God, God is not this, God is not that, God is not this.
Folashade, you are muted. What happened?
Oh no. Okay, just a minute, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, you are back.
Yes. So it goes beyond that. God actually gives us what we need to know, but we still need to seek more knowledge about it.
Okay.
Now, resource mother, we the O negative mother, we are so rare. Out of maybe 100 women, maybe you just find 2% of women that actually have that.
Wow.
So when I actually read your book last year during the COVID, I was like, wow. So sometimes I can actually share my own story to impact others. So when I see you that you actually make it a social media, I said, I must share my own story too. So being a resource mother does not mean that there is no hope for you. No.
Okay.
And as a resource mother, sometimes having a child can delay you not to have another child if you don't take the right step. Even you can be giving birth and the child keep dropping. If you don't use the normal medical research you're supposed to go to.
Okay. All right. You know what I want you to do for me, Shade? Assume that we have, of course, we have youths listening presently.
Okay.
Some of them are engaged, some are not engaged. So take us through what we need to do to avoid what happened to you.
Okay, the first thing you have to do is that I'm not saying we should not, once you know your blood group and you know your genotype, if your partner is, it actually happens to a female alone. If your husband is O positive and you are O negative, once you get pregnant and you have a miscarriage, you go and take a Rogam injection. And I always advise Rogam injection, RHOGAM, Rogam injection. Then I always tell you that you use a general hospital, that's government hospital.
Okay. Why do you advise that?
Sorry to say, most private hospitals will not tell you to go and do that. They will not even tell you more about resource mother. Most does not do that.
Okay.
So, but in general hospital, they'll tell you what to do. You see the guide. So sometimes government hospitals are always stressful. Their procedures are always much, but don't just look at the procedure or the stress. It is what you want to benefit from there.
Okay.
Fine. If you now okay,
wow, Shade's.
You've got like now the injection is so scarce and it's that they give it for free.
Wow. Shade, you've been doing good, but your internet seems to be playing some stuff on us now. Hello. Sorry, your internet went off briefly.
Okay. So there's an NGO responsible for that in Nigeria. It's called Rhesus NGO.
Okay.
So what you just need to do is you have to understand your partner. Am I O negative lady? Am I a positive lady? I don't need to get worried. Once I'm married, I know what to do. Once I have miscarriage, I know I have to collect this Rogam injection. And at each pregnancy, you collect Rogam injection. If you're having 5 children, you collect 5 Rogam injection. That is just it. Before breastfeeding. So even when you're packing
so this injection, is it like malaria injection, 2,000 naira, 1,000? How?
When I gave birth,
okay.
When I gave birth to her, yes, at 42,000.
42,000.
Yes.
Wow.
When I gave birth to Ire 2018, it was 50,000.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have an idea of the recent price for it?
I don't have an idea because I now have an NGO that can give it out for free for people that cannot afford it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have a friend here raising her hand. Funke Oyeneye. Incidentally, I know she also have experience along this line. All right. Dr. Mrs. Oyeneye, I want you to come up now. Do you want to ask your question, or I want you to actually contribute? I can't tell you to ask questions. Are you ready for us, Mrs. Oyeneye? Hello.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello.
Good
Can
evening,
you hear me?
Mrs.
We can
Yes, we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma.
Good evening. How are you, my sister?
I'm good. I just got in back from Lagos, and this topic is very, very germane to me also because
I actually should have told you before now. All right,
a
go ahead.
resource. I'm also a resource negative mother. In fact, my own genotype
Wow.
and blood group is the scarcest, if there is anything like that, is the rarest. You can find out anywhere. I'm AB and resource negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, well, I just want to
Sorry,
quickly,
Doctor Yeneye.
yes,
Tell
ma.
us, speak English to us. You say AB and resource. So what is the
Resource
implication of
negative.
that?
There are two different groups.
O
There's
negative.
the ABO blood group. That's the
Okay,
general one that most people knows. Is either you are
okay,
AA, you are AAB, or you are B, or you are O. There are
okay,
different types of blood grouping. Okay. Then the
okay,
resource factor is another grouping of the blood, in which case it
okay,
can only be either a resource positive or resource negative.
Or negative.
okay,
Yeah, it's only two. There are different
okay,
types of blood grouping. Okay. Then we have the other grouping of blood, that is the AS, the SS, the SC, and the AC. Then you have the ABO blood group. So there are different groupings of the blood. It's just identifying the different, strains of blood that we have in human beings. But let me go
okay,
straight to the resource. Now,
okay,
I had, even though I came in late, but I had Sister Folashade telling us the fact that once you get miscarriage, you have to take Rogams, and then once, you are O negative, you have to take Rogams. It is not all the time that you need to take it. I'm talking to you now from the professional point of view.
okay,
The reason why you have to take Rogams, if you are O negative or any group, once you are resource negative as a woman and you are pregnant, your first pregnancy is safe. Your body
okay,
develops an antibody against the antigen. If the baby you carry the first time, either you are able to bring it to life or got
okay,
miscarried along the line, or you had an abortion, whether intentional, legal, or illegal. If the
mm,
baby is positive while
mm,
in your womb, you are negative. Your system attempt to adapt and adjust for the first one. So it will produce, an antibody. Let me just use the word antibody so that it will be easier for everybody. The
okay,
immunoglobulin and all stuff like that. But let me just restrict myself to using only one word so that there won't be confusion. For
better,
subsequent pregnancy, if it happens that you are carrying another positive, resource positive child, and you are still negative as a woman, the antibody that was secreted initially is going to fight that baby in vitro, and that pregnancy will be aborted.
wow,
But that's it. So once you miss the first one and you don't know, that's the danger. The pregnancy keep aborting until by chance you either take the
Hmm.
Rogams, which is an immunoglobulin, to counteract the effects of that antibody that was stimulated by the first pregnancy, or
mm,
if you are lucky, you now carry a baby that is negative. That baby will negate that positive, and you'll be free. You
wow,
understand? So it is not
wow,
always all the pregnancy that you have. So the standard practice is that once you are pregnant and you are Rh negative, like she said, she rightly got it that most people are not aware and they really don't check. And sometimes we also have errors in the laboratory. When I was
wow,
single, before I went to the university, I carried out my genotype and all the blood tests, and I was declared AB positive.
mm,
Fortunately, unfortunately for me, when I got married, I got pregnant, I was in Jos. I went to the hospital, and of course, you have to do, it's part of the routine test. It was a big hospital, Jankwani Ekwa Evangel Hospital in Jos. And they
mm,
gave me the result and they said I was negative. I contested it. I want to tell you that we're about 8 children from my mother,
And nobody up to today in the whole of my family tree has a history of resource.
Hello, Safinke. Hello.
I think I network.
And I actually contested the results. I had to
Okay.
go and do the test again until it was confirmed that I was negative. So thank God I took the Rogam injection, and it has to be taken within 72 hours.
Wow.
Immediately you
72
deliver.
hours after delivery, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Immediately after delivery to 70. So it is very important. They must do the test for the baby, all right, to determine whether the baby is positive or negative.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So if the baby is negative, I don't need to take the Rogam. But incidentally, all my children were positive. So I took all the Rogams for all of them. Of course,
Wow.
Rogam was not very expensive, but I can tell you now that there are generic brands of Rogam. The branded Rogam is quite expensive, about between 36 and 40,000. But we have some generic that are extremely good too. We have it in the hospital. It's just less than 30,000, about 29,000, 50 naira or thereabouts. It's expensive, really. So once you know that you are a resource negative mother and you are getting pregnant, what we always do in our families, we will just get the money ready and keep it under my portmanteau as I'm packing the load to go to the hospital. No Rogam, no baby, because it's very, very important. So I think we should just go home with it. This is very important. It's a factor. But then, if you are a man and you are negative, there's no big deal. It's only if you're a woman, you are negative and you get pregnant. That is where, but the deal is not anything too big anyway. Once you get the Rogam, after delivery, they will do the test for the baby. And before 72 hours, it must be taken.
So what happens? What happens if it goes beyond 72 hours?
Well, you need to see a gynecologist, and they will decide what to do. Is a serious consultant issue.
Wow.
Nobody should bother to take the risk. Of course, some women will say that, this is my last baby. I don't need to take it. Sorry, you may not be able to determine your last baby, because sometimes even family planning can fail and you get pregnant again. So it's just safer for you to prevent whatever you can prevent. It's better late than be sorry. So if the 72 hours, of course, why do you want to wait for the 72 hours anyway? Now that you know, it's good for everybody to go and determine their genotype, their blood group, and their blood type, and the resource factor. And once you know, please, just do the needful. She also addresses the issue very well. I love that is coming from her, that go to the general hospital. Of course, some private hospitals, maybe very few of them knows about this, but some don't know because they are not really, professional. And some, they don't have the experience. And we've had a lot of issues over time. Of course, some laboratories too are not doing good because there are errors sometimes. So it's good to confirm and reconfirm like I did. Imagine I did my results the first test in Lagos, a very big hospital like that. I don't want to mention the name of the hospital. And until I got to just some years after, more than almost 4 or 5 years after, it was 6 or 7 years after, just for me to discover that it was the wrong result I've been carrying about. So it's always good to do the confirmatory and be sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mrs. Oyeneye. I really appreciate your getting involved. So could this be what was responsible for those things in those days in the villages?
Yeah, it's possible.
In our villages, when people die and they say Abiku, Kokumo, and all those things.
There are so many things that was responsible in those days. Apart from the resource factor, of course, resource factor will not even allow the baby to come to life. Okay. So it's a different matter. You just be having several miscarriages.
Wow.
Yes, the attack is
so most of them actually having the babies, so it could not have been.
They won't even call. They won't survive to bringing them forth to life.
Oh,
The
okay.
cocoons and all that, there are so many other factors. There are so many reasons why children die at that very early age, ranging
EJ,
from, there are just too many reasons, honestly, too many
give
reasons.
me two.
Huh?
Give me two reasons why it happens.
Two reasons. One, it could be due to sickle cell, and it could be due to natural abortion. There are some baby that their viability, that is their rate of survival, is not
It's low.
is not good enough. Nature has a way of getting rid of them almost immediately and instantly, and that's
Okay.
the natural cause. Nobody can contend that. There are
And then
some
there's the
that
third one that is diabolic.
well, I may not be able to put an hand on that because there's no
Because you're a
evidence
medical
for it.
person.
Oh yes, it's not scientific, really. It's not scientific, actually. It's not scientific because you can't touch it.
Okay.
Your large, you know. I mean, we are talking
All
about
right.
science now. All right, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Sister Funke. I really appreciate this. I
Yeah.
appreciate this. But don't go. Now that the two of you are here, um, of course, the Bible says you will know the truth and then the truth sets you free. But there are many hundreds of, maybe thousands of people out there, if not millions, that don't even know anything about Roga or what did you call the injection or anything. I'm hearing Roga. You put the right
Anti-D
thing.
injection, anti-D immunoglobulin injection.
Okay, that makes it more simple. All right, anti-D. Okay, anti-D. All right.
For dog, yeah.
So that means that there needs to be a lot of awareness out there. I can imagine Mrs. Adebawo, marrying at age 20, 25, and for like 3-4 years, you keep having the miscarriages. Of course, that's when the issue of the diabolic thing will come in, and then you start going for deliverance. How many
Exactly.
deliverances did you go for?
I can't even count.
You
I
were
can't
doing
count
it
them.
in
I can't count
installments.
the dry. I can't count the dry fasting. I can't count the experiences
Okay.
of. That was the time I actually encountered someone asked me to go to a church, Sele, and they said I'm a Mary. They have to use brew to beat me.
Yeah,
It was
sorry.
it was
Sorry.
one of my cleaner. I was actually just telling the experience that I watched a film that there's one. I just twisted it. I said, don't go. That they will use brew. So that is why I actually marriage, even in churches like Santa, when a woman has issue of giving birth, they start looking at you with some ices. Some of them will not allow you to carry their kids. As if they blackmail you as if that period of time they will not show love. I actually experienced that they will show you love. No, they'll start thinking, and sometimes it actually make you emotional. That you even don't want to go for any naming ceremony
Yeah,
again. And
you're right.
so
You're right. So that means even in churches, in Christianity, yes, I believe in faith. I believe in all those things. But there are times that we just even need to understand what is happening to us medically. And I
exactly.
discovered that some people they don't even want to know. So what you don't know won't disturb you or won't kill you. But unfortunately, it's what people don't know that have been killing them these days.
Exactly.
Even
Yes.
things avoidable, understand. So the way it's coming to me tonight is that thank God for faith, thank God that the blood of Jesus Christ is there for us, and by his stripes we are healed. But then maybe understanding of one or two things can actually change a lot of things. And unfortunately, somebody that has like resource issue, and instead of treating it medically, that keeps talking about, okay, maybe it's my father's second wife. No, it is actually a neighbor. And then you keep misfiring. You're praying, you're making enemies, you are suspecting everybody. Or maybe it's this one. And the one she was the last person that asked about, so Kilon Sheles here, what is happening to you? Maybe she's the one, she just wanted to know. God is going to help us. And of course, maybe I'm really very particular with children of God listening. Please find out some things about your medical state. I want to imagine maybe people that have not. It took Shade almost 44 years before you got somebody to tell you that you are whole positive, whole negative, and told you the implication. Almost 4 years. I can imagine the torture, the depressing state you will find yourself, the frustration, which could have been avoided. You understand? All right. So any last thing? Okay, somebody actually was trying to ask a question. I'm not sure you're still with us. Bukola Bamibola, sorry. I just remembered that your hand was up. Do you want to ask your question now? Hello, Bukola. All right, so while we are waiting for her, Shade, once again, I really appreciate you making us have this discussion tonight. I want you to give us what is going to be your advice to the general populace. I want you to give us a parting shot.
Okay, I think I always tell people that I have a motto. My own motto is that in a little way of me, I love imparting life positively. That if we can actually have more women, everybody that around us as a church, they should advise the youth, not just looking at that blog group alone, but it starts to start from somewhere. Right from our kids, let them begin to understand that what is their blog group and their genotype. This actually goes a long way. Because if I actually know it from secondary school, that okay, I only know my blog group, not my genotype, it won't happen to me. But because there was no knowledge of these things about it, so even at tertiary institution, when they ask you to go for a medical something, they don't give more guidance about it. You're like, okay, that's your medication and your medicals and things like that. They're never even bothered. And we keep growing like that. And the ignorance keeps spreading. Most people don't even know that we have a resource NGO in Nigeria. Most people have not even heard about resource. So we need more keys to more knowledge about this information. Thank God for your actually opportunity to spread the news, right? Okay, let people tell their own stories. Some people are actually dying in silence. Most marriages are actually broken just because of these factors. So together we can all make it great. Together we can actually, somebody was telling me, when somebody actually chatted me up after seeing my flight, why must he share that kind of story? I said, I have to tell my story to make an impact to someone's life. I don't know who actually needed it. Did I actually send you a voice note? That was just say, share your story to someone. Because I actually make a pledge that any way I can actually have a way to share my own story to impact people's life, I will do that.
Do so. That's
together,
great. Yeah.
Together we can actually make it great.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much, Folashade. I really appreciate this angle. You know, we spoke about sickle cell for like 2 weeks, and trying to look for the solutions. And then suddenly there was we are coming up with this. You understand? So that means Bible says watch and pray. For those that are still trusting God, you're not married. Yes, be excited about getting married and everything, but also put this due diligence in place to know at least 1, 2, 3 things about yourself, about your spouse, that is going to save you a lot of heartache and frustration in the future. You understand? Thank God for Shade's husband. He's really a very supportive man, a very caring man, spiritual man for that matter, that he kept on encouraging you and letting you know that don't worry, it's going to happen. It's God that does it. But some men are not just like that. They just, if men can even drive a woman out of the house because she's having 2, 3, 4 children that are girls, how much more the one that is not even having anyone? You understand? So I trust God that we all keep seeking knowledge. Love is no more blind. Yes, love, but please watch and pray and seek knowledge. I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight, Shade.
Thank you,
And
Sari.
I love your enthusiasm and the way you really want everybody to know that there is this killer thing that it's so silent and many don't know about it, but it's causing a lot of damage in marriages. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Welcome,
All right.
sir.
Okay. Yes, so thank you everyone for tonight. Thank you for making this week's Through It All to happen. If you are not here, I will just tell us let's stop this thing and then we come back maybe next week. But thank you all for being here. We really appreciate you, every one of you. Adiola Kasali, Afolabi Adejoke, Bimbola, Eniola, Fadeke, Staff Adeke Babalola is a constant follower. Fayo Kemi, of course, Dr. Funke Yeneye, Gbemisola, Borishade, Gbemisola Don, Ifeoluwa George, Kaiser is nice seeing you here, and my big uncle, Professor Kunle Kende. Uncle, thank you so much. Lois, Victor, Mondeli Williams, Oladapo, Olanike, Oladosu, Olumide Olawale, Mowumi Adeyina. Since I mentioned everybody, I must just, Ade doing Orashakin, then Pelumi Afolabi Rems, Pastor Sam Adebowale is going to be our guest for next week. Since I'm seeing his name now, I'm going to just, he has a very powerful story. He's a good friend. He's somebody that is at the point his room was, it passes through where a toilet, and when everybody in the property or in that apartment, after they have done everything, is the one that enjoys the fume and the scent from all those things, because that was where he could afford to stay. He's going to share his powerful story with us next week by God's grace. That's Pastor Sam Adebowale. Thank you for accepting to come. Sister Stella, Titi Lokbe, Auntie Tokumbo Kende, thank you, Auntie. Then my wife, Tony Olugbodi, thank you. Then Tunde Adebawo, thank you. We had a chat earlier. I thought it was Folashade's husband, not knowing that it was actually another Folashade that I've had encounter with in the she also read through it all, and we really had some encounter then. So thank you so much, Mr. Tunde Adebawo, Victor Abidoye, and then Mary, good evening. Nice to have Mary Koku here also. So let's meet again next week, Thursday. The program starts 8 p.m. Pastor Sam Adebowale is my guest. Is the national coordinator for Foursquare Youth. All the youth in Foursquare, is the one that is the father of all of them. So next week, Pastor Sam is going to be our guest. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you. So till we all come together again next Thursday, I wish you and I pray for you that the Lord is going to keep being with you. Evil will not before you.
Amen.
No plague is not going to, no plague will come near your dwelling. In the name of the Lord Jesus, none of you will be a victim of kidnap or any evil happening around us in this nation. The Lord will always watch over you. It will not come near you, nor any member of your family. In the name of the Lord Jesus. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. And have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, sir.
Bye. Nice to see you.